Hello, my name is Randy Weis. I work with Logix One. I'm the practice manager for virtualization and data management. So we handle a lot of the technologies for design, consulting, and implementation that go into a virtualized data center. And I want to talk a little bit more about cloud technologies, and in particular cloud storage. So storage is my specialty, and one of the things we've been trying to do for several years is find good use cases that help customers solve IT problems with cloud storage. Cloud storage can be defined as storage that you can access on your own. It is high latency, it is low performance, but high capacity. So use cases for this have been somewhat limited because it's, in many respects, has been too expensive to use for things like backup, which everyone thought would be a great use case. But prices are starting to come down. Amazon has some cloud storage called Glacier now that's quite inexpensive, but there are a lot of technical things that keep it still from being widely adopted. And I won't go into that right now, but what I wanted to specifically discuss was Nirvanix, which announced in a very ugly way that it was closing its doors in October. 2 weeks of notice, customers had sometimes petabytes of data. Very badly handled in many people's opinions, and immediately analysts and bloggers were saying this is the end of cloud storage and the end of cloud technologies. This isn't exactly true. There are some positive outcomes, we think, from this failure. But one of the things that is important to make a distinction is how do you use cloud storage? Well, it's a high latency. So it really needs to be used for things you don't need to access much, but you need a lot of storage for. And so deep archive, maybe original research data for health sciences or life sciences like genomic analysis. Content that will not change and is not frequently accessed. It fits a pay-for-download model. So cloud storage is quite useful for things like some of the content providers. They have other issues in how that storage in the cloud is going to be streamed to the media, but that's a topic for another day. Computing storage in a cloud for cloud infrastructure is low latency, high performance. And that works because the storage is right next to the application as it would be in your data center. So it's a traditional data center sort of design, just happens to be multi-tenant, but it's a lot more costly. So you're not going to store your backups in a cloud computing environment. It'd be insanely expensive. So Nirvanix made its money on offering the high capacity, low performance, but high latency business model. Unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of diversity in their market, and their business model was not sustainable, as it turns out, because they ended up losing money to such an extent that the people who were backing it decided to pull out. Well, 2 weeks' notice isn't enough time to move a petabyte of data. I won't bore you with the math, but trust me, it's not going to happen. So there was one provider that stepped up called SoftLayer that has high-speed interconnects between different cloud storage providers. And this is required because most of the time when you're uploading data to the cloud, most people's pipes to the cloud are sub-gigabit connections. They're wide area network links. And moving a terabyte of data over a 10 megabit or 50 megabit connection is going to take you weeks. Petabytes, probably years. So you need a high-speed interconnection between Nirvanix cloud storage and, say, Amazon or Google or Rackspace. And only one company really had that kind of infrastructure in place. That company is SoftLayer, which has since been purchased by IBM. So those customers who had a large volume of data needed to go to SoftLayer and have them arranged to have the data moved from one cloud storage provider to another. And this interconnectivity of cloud islands is an essential part, I think, of a maturing market, because when you are putting data in cloud storage and you need to pull it back and move it into a cloud computing environment, say, like in a backup and recovery example, then you oftentimes have to download it and then re-upload it rather than just move the data directly from the cloud storage to the cloud computing platform. So this kind of service offering has, I think, really risen to the top of people's minds. So it was a great opportunity for SoftLayer to get their service out into the public mind. It also raises people awareness on terms and contracts and SLAs. So if nothing else, there's a cautionary tale from anybody that intends to use cloud storage to make sure that they have good, firm, contractual service level agreements in place. I think a lot of people took a lot of things for granted, and they were burned very badly on that. But also it does, I think the other positive outcome for this is that the marketplace for cloud services is starting to mature. We are seeing the inevitable churn for people who go into that business technologists with a great idea, but not a lot of business sense. They didn't bill the right amount, or they're overpaying for their infrastructure, or it wasn't well designed, or whatever the reason may be. But those that are still surviving are going to be better for what they've learned from watching Nirvanix Meltdown. So all in all, a bad day for Nirvanix and a bad day for some of their customers, but I think overall it's going to be a good day for the cloud storage market because it's going to force some more maturity.